So shout out to these 3 Maryland women. So they
Yes.
reached out to us and they wanted us to promote their story, talk about what they have going on. So we're going to use this opportunity to highlight their story. So
Okay.
3 Maryland sisters are one step closer to reclaiming 36 acres of ancestral land that was taken from their great granddad through discrimination, racism, and they use eminent domain to strip this man of all of his land and all the things he worked for. So generation of wealth has been stripped, but they are
36 acres is a lot.
and think about this. These people buying data centers and buying land for this might be worth 40-50 million dollars.
That's true.
And it don't matter where it's at, even if it's
It doesn't matter where
in the middle of Iowa or it's in the middle of Kentucky. It might actually be worth more there because you can sell it for a data center. So,
well, it's crazy that because I think it says the land was in Potomac.
Where's that at?
It's in DC. And I was going to say, if you know anything about property in DC, I was actually just there. It's so expensive to live there. It's it's expensive to get a hotel there, let alone have property there. So the man who had been enslaved purchased 36 acres of land in what's now Potomac, Maryland, for $210. That's how much 36 acres.
That was a lot back in the day, though. I mean,
that's true too.
Yeah.
That's true too, because this is great granddad.
Exactly.
So that's a lot, and it was an investment in the future, like for their family. However, it was seized, despite his ownership, his family's ownership. It was seized through discriminatory practices in eminent domain.
Yes.
And I was looking at this article, and it says that it was swallowed up by Montgomery County and private developers.
So for the people who don't know what eminent domain is, can you break that down, or you want me to break it down?
Sure. Like, eminent domain is the argument that this space has a best use for the public.
Yes.
And so then the government comes in. Now, the government doesn't necessarily have to be the ones to say, hey, this space is best used for the public. It could also be private companies to say that, hey, I'm actually going to tell on y'all to the government and make my case. That
an example would be like a Georgia case that we covered on here before. You guys can go look that up on our channel. But these people have their own land. They're not doing nothing to nobody.
Yes.
And the railroad is saying, you know what? We need to build straight through their land. We don't need to take their land, but we need to build a railroad straight through their land. And they're like, no, I got my house right here, my other land right here, my garden right here. We're planting seed. They're like, no. And they went to the Georgia Supreme Court and Georgia Court of Appeals, and they're winning. They're literally about to take these people land over for eminent domain. Right. And
because it's best use if it serves the public. It's the same excuse that they use for corporate welfare.
Yes.
Like and I'm not saying that not some of these cases I agree with. So like Boeing, that's the company that makes the airplanes.
Right.
The government could give all of their money to Boeing, as far as I'm concerned. I'm in the air way too much.
Right.
For to not have confidence in that.
Well, I mean, you can still make the same argument for the if it's that much of a hassle, just overpay me market value for it, and that'd be the problem too. They don't be wanting to overpay. They just be wanting to try to drain your pockets through litigation and basically steal it and take it from you. But like it's something going on like in Michigan. They got rid of a whole thriving black community. They got rid of it through eminent domain and built like a freeway
in the middle of the community.
In the middle of the community, took it all, and now they just basically like, no, we're gonna make that like walkable grassland and like greenery and
a different shops. Community. We actually want a different community there
because what they took it for didn't really pan out the way they wanted to take. So it's kind of like eminent domain. Like it don't necessarily have to be a business plan or something that serves the public that actually works. It could be, we just we want this community, and they take it, and then they're like, you know what, this actually isn't working out. So
Mhm.
they don't give it back and help y'all build the land. They just say we're gonna repurpose it for something else and something else and something else, and that something else
That's
doesn't
crazy that they
entail.
don't give it back.
Yeah, that something else doesn't entail you getting your property back. So, we're gonna continue highlighting these women.
Yes.
They didn't get the property back yet, but they have made significant progress, and they're one step closer to getting this land. And this is going to set the like.
I think they're trying to raise money.
Remember that property that family got in L.A. That beachfront property. Something like that's generational wealth. Yeah. And then they sold it for what, $25-30 million. I'm like, this generation, why would you sell that for $30 million? A beachfront property in LA?
I know, right?
But it's 7-8 people that inherited this and all that. They just like liquidated, whatever.
I would have rented it out. Like, I don't know.
Well, they were renting it back to the LA County.
Yeah, but then they sold it. I would have just rented it out forever. Like, if it's that important to y'all. My thing is, today's money is never as valuable as tomorrow's money. Yeah. So, like, you getting that $30 million now, even if you kept like 15 million of it, it's going to spend like 10 or you know what I mean?
Y'all can really be broke.
Yes.
In 10 years. Like, y'all can really y'all got this land back.
That's my point, yes.
And now y'all could literally be broke because y'all ain't do the right thing. So, hopefully these young ladies secure their family's wealth, and just think about the amount of African Americans that have been discriminated against and been robbed of their generational wealth. Yeah. And we sit here talking about the wealth gap and financial literacy. Some things are not about financial literacy. Some families, especially most black African American families, have been robbed and stripped of their wealth. And it's going to take somebody like us to really break that generational curse. You're looking at your father, you're looking at your dad, you're looking at your mom, your granddad, all these people saying, why didn't you, why didn't we inherit, these acres and this, that, and the third? And they're looking at you and they don't really know why. Mm-hmm. But a lot of them, if we really being honest, they were robbed. Yeah. They were robbed by the government. This is not you in a back alley with a bust down rollie on and get robbed. No. They were stripped of their wealth. And they wasn't compensated. And even if they were compensated, it wasn't proper. And there's nothing to show for it. So that's why I love stories like this every time. Yeah. Ladies, get y'all money.
Yeah. Because I think they're trying to repurpose it for public housing.
Thank you guys for watching. In order to continue to support independent journalism, I need you to subscribe to our page below. And also, if you want the full podcast and more exclusive content, make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. Link is in the description.